Back home, and the former Australian cricketer whose batting record was smashed by New Zealander Amelia Kerr against Ireland yesterday says the teenager has a huge future. The 17-year-old student of Tawa College hit a record 232 not out, which surpassed Belinda Clark's 21-year record of 229 not out, set back in 1997. Belinda Clark told me a little earlier she was thrilled that her record had been beaten by someone so young and with so much potential.
Well, I heard her early in the morning, yesterday morning, and I was alerted to the fact by my Twitter feed going berserk, where someone had mentioned that my record had been broken, and that then created a whole range of activity, which I then thought, oh, what's going on here? So I then looked in at the news article and was absolutely thrilled that Amelia had made a big score.
It's a pretty long stint at the top there, 21 years before that record was broken. Did you ever have the idea, perhaps, that that it could be broken by someone so young?
I hadn't given it a lot of thought, to be honest. And I think the fact that it's been broken by someone so young at a point in the game where there's so much more cricket being played and the game's on the rise and there's a lot more cricket on television, I think it's just a really exciting point where, gives something for people to talk about, and it's obviously a great achievement, and her team would be very proud of her and her family, etc. So I hadn't been thinking about when's this record going to fall, because I don't think about that often, but I'm just so pleased that it's been done, whilst I'm still alive. It's great.
Yeah, but you probably wouldn't, you probably prefer someone other than a Kiwi to knock you off your perch, surely? Yeah,
probably, if I'm honest. But that's okay. We've obviously got a strong rivalry between Australia and New Zealand. But look, I think it's great that that she's been able to do this, and being 17 is absolutely amazing. If you think back what I was doing at 17, it wasn't what she's been doing. So you put it in the context of your own life, and you think that's some achievement, considering she's more known for her bowling.
That's
and
right.
Just promoted up the batting order because of circumstances in the team, and then took that opportunity with both hands. I just think it's a great story.
And you're probably not giving yourself enough credit there, Belinda. I mean, you're a pioneer in the field of cricket. For a long time, you were the only human being that scored a double century in the limited overs game. That's the 50-over game. With that in mind, you being such a pioneer for so long, how do you classify Amelia Kerr?
Look, I just think having a youthful exuberance and the ability to go out and be bold, and I understand she hit a six off the last ball to pass the score. So just that boldness is something that I really think is wonderful, and she's going to be a great player if she continues to do this. This won't be a flash in the pan. I've heard very good things about Amelia and her. The way she goes about the game, the fact that she's got her feet on the ground, she's a good team member. So, look, those things don't just happen by chance. She's obviously put in a lot of hard work, but there's probably more hard work in front of her than behind her to continue to make a difference for New Zealand cricket.
And, of course, she does all that without using any sandpaper or tape, of course, too.
Well, that's right, and nor bowling underarm, so we've got to get all those jokes out of the way quickly. Yeah.
I saw the Australian cricket team a little bit sensitive about their... The people in the field, the people in the stands over in England, this is the men's team, there was sandpaper handed out at the game, and some of them were a little bit sensitive, and I thought, well, that's a bit rich. You've got to expect a little bit of ribbing after an event like that, whether you fessed up and said sorry and cried on TV or not. But we will move on. We will move on from that. And I wanted to ask you, because you also have a lot of experience. You work with Cricket Australia, you work with young people in the game, and as you said before, it's become more professional. People are getting to the game earlier. I mean, what's the next big thing? We're seeing all sorts of records topple now. What's next? I mean, are we going to see triple centuries in this kind of game? We're going to see bigger scores in 2020 matches. I mean, what do you predict is next on the horizon in terms of young people doing so well in this game?
Oh, look, I think those things will, they'll push the boundaries, but I think the balance in the game between bat and ball is really important, and if it gets out of control where the bat's dominating too much, I think there'll be things brought in place to make sure that it's a fair and interesting game for people to play and watch. So I don't know that we'll keep the same upward trajectory we've seen in the short form game around scoring rates, but you play on a lot of different surfaces and a lot of different size grounds around the world, and as the game becomes more and more open across other countries, you're obviously going to play against teams that are relatively new. So there still will be big scores, absolutely, but I think it's really important for the sport to keep some balance between bat and ball, and I think we've got it pretty right at the moment.
Now, look, there'll be a whole lot of attention given to Amelia Kerr in the next few weeks and months, and she's got a lot of cricket to play ahead of her. What's your advice as someone who's been there before? What would you tell her in terms of how to approach her current fame and the rest of her career?
Look, I'm told that she's got her feet on the ground. She comes from a good family, so I would expect that she'll enjoy the accolades for a short period of time, and then she'll. I suggest she'd be best to place it in the back of the memory bank and think more about it when she's my age, and get on with winning games of cricket and doing her best for New Zealand. So it's a great landmark, it's a great achievement, but you don't want it to distract you from making sure that you're trying to become better every day. And from what I hear, that's her attitude, and I think she'll be fine dealing with the little spots of fame that come along the way.
Belinda Clark there, being a good sport.